Welcome to the Nintendo Power Zone. We are a bi-weekly video/podcast dedicated to bringing you the best Nintendo-related topics. As always, I'm your host, Nice One, and I'm joined by my co-hosts, Jaden Winsong and Blues. Welcome back to the show, gentlemen.
How's it going? Glad to be back.
Yeah, it's good to be here. Not sure if you guys can really notice if you're just listening on your normal podcast, but I got a nice, better setup right now. I got a mic stand looking nice. I got some new posters in the background looking nice as well. So I'm excited to have this fresher setup going on.
Nice. That's how we do. Anyway, guys, it's been about 2 weeks since the Nintendo Direct, and as awesome as it was, there was one game that made the Nintendo community scream in unison, and that game was revealed with one of the best character reveal trailers Nintendo has ever made, and that game would be Super Smash Bros. For Nintendo Switch. So, on today's episode, we are going to speculate as to whether or not this is a port or a true sequel, what characters and changes we want in this iteration, and whether or not Nintendo will support the game with a new wave of amiibo. But first, we move into the powered up news. So, our major news story, I think it's one that I've been covering pretty much all of last week with the 8-bit news, is that Toys R Us is officially closed. They're starting their liquidation sales tomorrow, and that's it, man. That's it. After 70 years, Toys R Us is finally going bye-bye. And I think what we should talk about is how this specifically affects Nintendo and maybe the rest of the video game industry. For a long time, when I was growing up, Toys R Us was the place of dreams when it came to being a Nintendo fan, considering Nintendo was basically the only, video game company on the market. And if you needed a game, Toys R Us always had it. And I remember the video game section was called the R Zone, and they didn't have the game cases lined up. They had these pieces of paper. And you go up to the game section, you pull the piece of paper of the game you want, you bring it to the front counter. The guy would walk behind the magical door in the back and come out with the game. And it had to be a magical door because it was nothing but a room of games. So I'm just going to assume that that's the door of magic. And that was my childhood. I grew up with Toys R Us like that. And then I moved to Germany, and I was there for 10 years. So when I came back in my 20s, Toys R Us had drastically changed just the way they dealt with video games. Instead of the game section being as big as the eye could see, it was much more condensed. It just looked different, and it became, it wasn't the go-to place for me to buy video games anymore. I started going to GameStop, Target, Walmart, and not because of price reasons. It's just they were more convenient because Toys R Us is always kind of out of the way. Anyway, I think the one major way I see how this affects Nintendo, I think it's twofold. Number one, Nintendo has always shipped large quantities to Toys R Us. Always. When it came to things like, the original NES, all the way up to the NES Classic, Toys R Us would typically get larger amounts of consoles than the other retailers because pretty much guaranteed to move. You walk into a toy store and, there's a Nintendo console there, one that's hard to find, no less. You don't want it. I think the other major way this really hurts Nintendo is Amiibo. Toys R Us dedicates the largest shelf space to Amiibo out of all the retailers. If you go to Toys R Us before they completely liquidate, you look at their Amiibo section, it is 3 times the size of Target's Amiibo space and about twice the size of Walmart's Amiibo space. And considering that Nintendo sees Amiibo as a platform, it's pretty much a huge loss for them. I mean, I think Toys R Us had the most exclusive Amiibos as well. I think who they have? Greninja, a couple others.
They had both Greninja, Lucario. They might have had Jigglypuff. Did they? No, Jigglypuff was Target.
Yeah.
But
any retailer that gets an exclusive Pokemon Amiibo, that's a win.
No, but I think you are correct in that Toys R Us has gotten the most. That might be right.
What about the Retro 3-pack that was GameStop exclusive, though?
Mm-hmm.
Was that exclusive?
No, that was Toys R Us exclusive.
The Retro 3-pack with like Game & Watch, Rob, whatever. That was a Duck Hunt. Yeah. That was definitely a GameStop exclusive.
but Toys R Us got the Rob color variant as an
Yes.
exclusive.
Oh,
I
they
think
did.
so.
That was nice. Yeah.
They got the Japanese Famicom edition of Rob. So yeah, they got, Toys R Us closing will affect the Amiibo platform, especially in a time where it looks like we're getting a new Smash game, and with as successful as the Amiibo were for the previous Smash game, it makes me wonder how Nintendo works around this. Because we all know that GameStop should not be allowed any exclusive Amiibo, period. Just
Ever. No.
Nope.
I will agree
Nope.
with that.
GameStop should not have exclusive Amiibo. It's bad. Their system is bad. GameStop in general is bad. I have issues with GameStop, and I always will, it seems like.
I'll give him props for trying, but A for effort does not really amount to anything in the real world.
Yeah, but see, for me, this is the end of an era. Like I said, I am a child of like the early 80s. I was born in 1983. So from the 80s until like the mid 90s, Toys R Us was the spot for me to not just buy games, but to buy all the toys that I wanted. Like, I love going there. Going to Toys R Us was magical. To see them going out of business, especially when they should be celebrating the 70th anniversary of Toys R Us, is something. It's a sad state of affairs, and it's not like the writing wasn't on the wall. It's like I started to notice things were going bad for Toys R Us the moment they closed the Times Square store in New York, which was their flagship big store. That was the Toys R Us. Once that one went bye-bye, I knew that it was only a matter of time before things got really bad. And just to talk a little bit of business, Toys R Us there's a real reason Toys R Us went bankrupt. And it's not because kids aren't buying toys. I mean, that's kind of part of it, but it's not exclusively the reason why Toys R Us is bankrupt. Toys R Us got bought in a leveraged buyout, which basically means a company was allowed to buy Toys R Us with Toys R Us as capital. So basically they're saying Toys R Us is worth $5 billion. I want to buy Toys R Us, but I want to use the $5 billion that the company is worth as a sort of loan. And since the company generates $5 billion, I can pay X amount a year. So every year Toys R Us had to pay about $14 million. As toy sales start to slump because kids are gravitating towards tablets, video games, phones, as all these things start to happen, Toys R Us revenue starts to shrink, which means they can't pay off that $14 million every year, and they just keep digging themselves into a hole until we get to this point where they just cannot pay, their debt anymore. And we're in this situation. Like I said, for me, this is a sad thing because, like I said, I just remember a golden era for Toys R Us, and I know this will affect Nintendo, especially considering they want to move 30 million Switches by the end of this fiscal year. Losing Toys R Us as a retailer will definitely contribute to them not really reaching that specific goal. Any thoughts on this, guys?
I believe it wasn't covered in the 8-Bit News. I think it happened like the day after you posted it. The last 8-Bit News covering the Toys R Us. Amazon wants to buy a fair chunk of the Toys R Us in the liquidation sales or whatever. I only read it as headline, but I think that should be pretty helpful. Amazon is, as a retailer, has been helpful to Nintendo as well. Amazon's huge just in general. As well as, helping keep it alive in liquidation is going to be helpful. And I think if Amazon, changes how they run Toys R Us more or less, we can see a big improvement, I guess, in how Toys R Us could operate into the Amazon-owned stores.
Well, I don't necessarily think that Amazon buying Whole Foods recently has really affected the overall shopping experience of Whole Foods.
I think you're right.
I think in terms of Toys R Us, I think it'll have a larger impact on just toys as a whole. I think when it comes to games, I think we're at an interesting crossroads because Nintendo's been trying to push things digitally for a while. I mean, that's just the trend. A lot of people are pushing things digitally in printing out less physical copies. So they may not be hurt so much in that aspect. I think the amiibos are definitely where they could feel it the most, which is interesting because in the UK, I know you can buy amiibos through the Nintendo store in the UK, which is weird to me because you can't do that here. And I'm like, why? Why can't you do that?
Nintendo is a far more approachable company in regions that are not America.
It's super weird to me. And I think, if that were the case here, I don't think they would hurt as bad. But we'll see how it'll shape up in terms of Toys R Us. And I think in general, just consumers we're at a weird crossroads in terms of that point where people like the idea of brick and mortar, but then they also really like Amazon.
Mhm.
That's true. I mean, Amazon is slowly killing malls across the country. And Amazon, let's be real. Amazon probably plays one of the biggest factors in Toys R Us's, sales declining. Anyway, I think that's enough for Toys R Us. I kind of want to stop covering this story because it actually fills me with sadness.
I'm sorry. Let's move on.
It's the end of an era.
It truly is. It truly is. But let's talk about an era that just won't die. That's the Sonic era. So the South by Southwest panel just happened, and Sega decided that they're gonna pimp out their Blue Hedgehog in ways that are both exciting and scary at the same time. Let's start with the exciting because I think that's what we need to be right now. Sonic Mania Plus. Sonic Mania Plus, a brand new physical edition of Sonic Mania that includes 2 retro characters, Mighty the Armadillo and Ray the Flying Squirrel. Mighty hasn't really been seen since Knuckles Chaotix, and Ray the Flying Squirrel only showed up in one Sonic game before this, and that was a Sonic arcade game that never saw the light of day in the US. This is cool. First off, Mighty the Armadillo is aesthetically one of my favorite looking Sonic characters. Just love the fact that he's a super strong armadillo who looks a little bit like Sonic, but got a little bit more like swag. And I love his character design. Ray the Flying Squirrel, it's an interesting choice, but it just goes to show how much this new Sonic team, with Christian Whitehead and Headcanon Games, it shows how much they know their Sonic history, and I think that's really cool. Aside from that, the physical edition of Sonic Mania Plus is dope. Okay, so it's going to come with 32-page art book, holographic slipcover, reversible packaging, designed to resemble the cover of the classic Sega Genesis Sonic games, and all that DLC added to the game. That's a nice package, man, and it looks really nice. I'm excited about this. Sonic Mania was one of the best games I got to play last year, and it really felt like they made Sonic the way it was always supposed to be. And it was a really cool presentation. Just the fact that they want to re-up on this Sonic. Like they got the same team is still dedicated to making classic 2D Sonic. That makes me happy. We don't have a release date for this yet. We just know it's coming this summer. But I'm excited, and it's another... I've beaten Sonic Mania with all the characters every which way. It's going to be nice to jump back into it with 2 new characters and see how playing as those 2 characters change the way the game feels. Any thoughts, guys?
It's nice to see a physical edition. I mean, I'm one of those kinds of guys that will go out of his way to 9 out of 10 times buy the physical copy, and that may be the case here for me because I've already purchased it digitally, and a physical is a nice addition.
That's the only bummer for me is that I'm going to be rebuying this game just because it's A, physical, and B, I want the 32-page art book because I'm a sucker for art books.
The art book is cool. I want to talk about the little the animation in general for the Sonic Mania.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Tyson Hess Tyson Hess, man, that guy is on fire with his art style. His art style is legit. And he comes from the Archie Sonic world. This guy is a carryover from, like, he was drawing the Archie comics for a little while before they canceled it. This guy's art style is very reminiscent of Sonic CD. And so cool that they brought him in to do that, like, a track screen for Sonic Mania.
And we're getting how many more episodes of that?
We're getting 5 little episodes, and what's that called? Sonic Mania Adventures. And they released the first preview now, 35-second trailer for it. The art is fantastic in that trailer. That put a huge smile on my face to see that art.
Yeah, I think more than anything else, that's what I'm most excited about with this re-release, is getting more of that. Because it's throwback to, you know, when I was 5 in '94 watching the Sonic cartoons where Sonic was voiced by what's the guy's name? Urkel.
Steve
the guy
Urkel,
who played
Jaleel White.
Jaleel White. Jaleel White?
Yeah, Jaleel White.
Jaleel White, yeah. And so it's nice to see that throwback. That's what I'm most excited about, if I'm being completely honest.
I'm glad that they are actually going to not voice Sonic in this series. It's going to be done in pantomime, similar to how we see the games. I think that's such an underutilized animation technique. Like, especially when you think about how expressive these Sonic characters are. Like, they do so much. You see so much of their characters in how little they do. I think Sega has always done a really good job of capturing the essence of the character through something as simple as pantomime.
Yeah.
But I think something that stirred a lot of people's attention was the reveal of a Sonic racing game, and they did their best to play up the racing aspect of it, and it's so weird. I'm so confused by the way they're marketing this. So they just showed like the word Sonic and then just the red R from the word racing. And I'm like, wait, is it Sonic R or is it Sonic Racing? Because those are two completely different games, because Sonic R has Sonic running on foot, while the other characters use other methods of transportation, whereas Sonic Racing, that's all vehicles. And they basically used Sonic Racing to extend to the whole Sega, you know, all of Sega's IP. I don't know, I'm just very confused by the way they wanted to market this game.
I mean, so I saw that last trailer on though they revealed the R. It looks a lot like the Sonic R, and I feel like I didn't watch it live and I don't know anything. I just saw the trailer itself. Is it really a racing game, or is it maybe a game where Sonic or Sonic characters are use or have a car? So, you know, it could just be that it's not a racing game, but it's a Sonic driving a car. Like, I know that it was also a racing game in extent, like Sonic Air Riders. They could have made that into a whole game where it's just Sonic on a hover skateboard. It's a Sonic game though, which is stupid, but they could have done that, you know, like a whole. I don't know, like, it's not a racing game, but you play in a car. I don't know how to properly word that. It could be that. I think there's definitely a weird, you know, it's not Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing. That's pretty clear by what we've been shown. And it doesn't seem like a traditional Sonic game either, because why would Sonic have the car otherwise? So I think it's definitely it's probably something new. I don't think it's necessarily racing either.
So I got to say, what I really want, if I could, like, you know, sky's the limit dreaming, I want it to be a Sonic game that's a parody of Final Fantasy 15, where it's Sonic and his buddies in the giant car just going around dressed like My Chemical Romance.
That would be good.
Black Parade, you know? That would be hilarious to me, and it would probably be better than Final Fantasy 15. Shots fired, Square Enix, you suck. No, to be fair, Final Fantasy 14 is pretty okay, but and Dragon Quest, but Final Fantasy 15 was a mess. Anyway, that's what I would like to see, honestly, if I'm being like super serious. But you know, I'm also going to be that guy, and I'm going to say, you know, All-Star Racing, that was the one on the Wii U, right?
No, it was All-Star Racing was the first one. Then All-Star Racing Transformed was the Wii U and like one.
Yeah, I'm just going to be that guy and say that game actually wasn't half bad. It was actually kind of fun.
Mm-hmm. I would agree. I think it wasn't perfect by any means, though.
I'll be okay with it.
I mean, yeah, I think there's room to definitely improve the All Stars, and I would, if they could make it feel really, really nice, I would be down for All Stars Racing.
I wasn't a huge fan of All Stars Racing. It was a little too busy for me.
Agreed.
I think the reason Mario Kart works is because of its simplicity, and that's why it's always worked. The All Stars Racing game are a little too busy, but they're how do I say this? Okay, so they're more busy than a Mario Kart game, but not busy enough for people who like Forza or Need for Speed or any of those other like racing simulator style games. Like, not busy enough. So it sits in this weird place where it's like, because with racing games, there's the extreme. There's Mario Kart, and then there's Gran Turismo. And everything else that's in the middle, be damned, except for Need for Speed, which I don't know how they keep selling those games.
I think it was busy. I don't think it was too busy. It's definitely busier than Mario Kart. My big issue with it was probably the items. The items were far too bizarre. A bit of the track design and layout was a bit weird, if not busy. It was like, this is a missed opportunity on this track a lot of the times, is what I found myself saying. But there's a lot of creativity in the tracks. All the cast from pretty much all of Sega's lineage and history was pretty cool. But it was the items. The items felt just weird and not worth being items. A lot of the time.
That's the thing. Like when you think about the Mario Kart franchise,
they do items right.
Everything that's a weapon in that franchise is iconic in its own from the Mario franchise. So when you see a coin, your brain registers that you need to collect that coin.
Yep, bombs.
For bombs, you know that they blow shit up, or you know that red turtle shells are heat seeking at this. Like, that's the thing. We've had years of Mario Kart games to
establish these trends.
Well, they've conditioned us to use items in a certain way. We know what each item does at this point. Whereas the Sonic Racing franchise was so new and offbeat that some of the items that are part of that game don't register the same way we would expect them to.
That makes sense, I guess.
It's a good point. I hadn't thought about it that way. I mean, to be completely honest, I bought the game for like $10, and the only thing I was really looking for is the Mario Kart clone. And so I was pleasantly surprised by how much they managed to differentiate themselves from Mario Kart.
The one thing that Sonic All-Stars Racing had on the Wii U that Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U didn't was the fact that you could like avoid a split screen situation by having someone on the gamepad. And that was the blessing that Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing did on the Wii U. I just don't know why Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U did not do. Like, I understand maybe the mini-map being on there, but it's like, fix it. Put the mini-map where it should be and let someone play on the gamepad.
Yeah, it's funny because you look at a game like Pokken, and that's how you play two-player mode, with one person on the gamepad, staring at the gamepad, and the other person staring directly at the screen.
I only played local multiplayer with multiple setups, which was a pain, but I didn't do the gamepad. No one wanted it. Why set it up,
I see what you're saying, yeah.
All right.
I played LAN mode entirely for local.
So that's pretty much it for the Sonic South by Southwest press conference. That was fairly good. They didn't announce another 3D Sonic game other than the Sonic Racing game. And right now we don't need it. I think Sonic Team needs to reevaluate what they do in the 3D space. At this point, I'm like literally saying to myself, the only way for there to be a good 3D Sonic game is to give it to Nintendo and let them do it.
Yeah, I think generally Sonic 3D has always suffered from speed. It doesn't necessarily always translate well to a 3D plane. I mean, I went back and I was playing Sonic Adventure 2, which is hands down, well, maybe not hands down, but most people agree that it's the best 3D one. It's either that or Sonic Heroes. And even that one suffered from speed issues from time to time. And so, Sonic Forces was, I think, in many cases a step in the right direction. But they still haven't solved the crux of all their issues.
I think Sonic Lost World had a pretty decent solution to the speed issues, where you could You had like multiple levels of speed. You could just, if you wanted to run at full max speed, you could. If you wanted to run at a medium speed, you could. If you wanted to go at a slow speed, you could. If you wanted to walk for the whole level, you could. There was no reason why you couldn't, other than Sonic walking is like unbearable. but I mean, it's the idea is that you have your selections. Here's the speed you go at. If it's too fast, we're sorry. If it's too slow, we're sorry. I think having multiple adjustable speeds like that is good. I think that was a step in our direction. I think it wasn't a perfect system, but I think that's the best balancing the speed we've had in a while.
It's an interesting idea, yeah.
All right, I agreed. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll talk about our last news bit of the day. And yesterday, Nintendo had another Direct. 2 weeks. 2 weeks they waited between Directs. And this one was focused on Nindies. Man, this was a weird Direct for me, especially with Nindies. What bothered me was the lack of certain games in this Nindies Direct. But I want to talk about what they did have first. They had a couple of games in there that interest me, but not a whole lot. But I think the games that stood out to me were Fantasy Strike and Mark of the Ninja. Wait, is it Mark of the Ninja? That's the 8-bit.
No, that's not Mark of the Ninja. That's the Messengers, the 8-bit to 16-bit. Mark of the Ninja Remastered is something completely different, but also a very good, very amazing ninja game.
Okay, so the Messenger looks amazing. I like that whole 8-bit to 16-bit like transition. I was like, that is dope. That's kind of where I want to
really time traveling.
I want to see Shovel Knight do something like that. I would love to see like a 16-bit Shovel Knight game, that one that plays like with that. But I thought that was a really cool like idea. I thought the idea of traveling back and forth through time, and there is a physical reflection of that through 8 and 16 bits. That was pretty cool. And Fantasy Strike looks really good. Considering I'm a huge fan of fighting games, this looks like a AAA fighting game. Like, I was not expecting there to be a fighting game that looked this good and it be a Nindy. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. This looks as good as some of the newer fighters. It looks pretty much akin to like a Marvel vs. Capcom style fighting game as far as its art direction is concerned. I love the fact that like weapons play a major role in the combat because we're not getting Soul Calibur for the Switch. Like, let's just be honest, we're not getting Soul Calibur. I'm gonna call it right here, right now. Soul Calibur is not coming to the Nintendo Switch. So this is what we got, and I think it looks pretty cool.
Have either of you been following Fantasy Strike at all?
No, I didn't even know about this game until this Nindies Direct yesterday.
I've been following it for quite a while, actually. It's based off a card game, actually, called Yomi. And so all the characters are Yomi characters, and there's a lot of Yomi characters. I don't have all the expansions, but I believe there's like, I want to say 100. I don't quite know. But it's based off Yomi. And the moves you'll see there's a Yomi move in the game. But they don't have health bars. I'm not sure if you noticed that in the trailer at all, if it was even shown. In Fantasy Strike, they don't have health bars. It's a point system. So if you land a hit, you get the point. And it's like, I don't know how many, like 3 to 6, somewhere in between there, like points, and you just get the knockout. And when they were saying, like, it's not about, landing is like the biggest combo, it's about, the strategy of it. And I think having played a bit of it on I was at Unicon in Detroit. They had it demoing at Unicon, and playing it, it really was about strategy and not just getting the health bar down. Because you have to not get your points taken from you. You have to take the opponents, and so the combos don't matter, which is interesting. It really does play strategy, which is super cool. The weapons, it's not quite Soul Calibur level, I'm gonna say, but it is very cool to see. Like, there's a lot of uniqueness, and it's more so just how the character plays an actual weapon. But it's really fun. I did not expect it to be coming to Switch. That was a curveball. I freaked out. But it's super cool to see this coming. I know it was on it's on the Xbox, I believe, Steam and PlayStation right now. And so seeing on Switch coming to Switch is awesome. Like, more fighting games for Switch is amazing.
The Nintendo Switch is slowly establishing itself as the fighting game console.
I agree.
We have more fighting games then I know what to do with. This is like I feel like cash rich in fighting games right now. Obviously, we've got a Smash Brothers game coming out at the end of the year. We have Brawl Out. We have
Blade Strangers, SNK Heroines, two old
Pokken
Street
Tournament.
Fighters, Pokken, ARMS.
And let's not forget about all the Neo Geo classics. I mean, that's insane. We got, what is it? Way of the Samurai, I think, was one of the very ancient ones that never ever saw the light of day here.
Yeah,
or what is it? The Fang of Garou or something? Super obscure, but it's supposed to be one of the great Godel Mark of the Wolves. That's the one. Mark of the Wolves. It's supposed to be one of the greatest fighting games of all time. But it's super niche and never saw it. So I think I agree with that point. It's becoming not only the fighting game like console of the now, but it's also kind of a repository of the gems of the past too.
There's so many really fighter games on the Neo Geo, like whatever eShop stuff, which is King of Fighters. So what can you go wrong?
Yeah, I agree.
The one game though that was it was like it stood out like a sore thumb. The fact that it was missing to me was Morphe's Law. I don't know what's going on
about that one.
Like I've been waiting for that game, but there's just been no word. It's another Nindies game that just seems to have gotten lost. And that one looks dope, man. Morphe's Law looks really dope. It has like this sort of Splatoon vibe to it, but it's also doing its own thing. And I'm like, oh, can we get this game? And just no word of it. Outside of that, the Nindies Direct was really short. I think they announced 18 games. None of them really stood out to me other than the two that I've spoken on, The Messenger and Fantasy Strike. If you're a fan of the Banner Saga trilogy, you're going to be really happy. But again, it's weird that we're probably going to get the third one before we get the first two on the Switch.
Yeah, I got to say that's the title that I was really happy to see. It was one of those titles that had never occurred to me that it would work well on the Switch, and now that I see it, I'm kind of like, oh, yeah, I could see that. But Banner Saga, I was pleasantly pleased to see. I think Bad North, I think it's from what I can tell, it seems to be Viking themed.
Yeah,
Viking themed strategy of some sort. So that'll be kind of interesting. And I'm a sucker for rhythm games, so those were pretty cool.
Lightfall looked interesting. I don't know anything about it though, but it looked interesting. It had a lot of awards that it apparently won as well.
Yeah. But speaking of light, I have to agree with Nice One on this one. We just found out like yesterday that Hyper Light Drifter is also coming to the Switch, and I'm like, why didn't you just wait a couple days and throw that into the Nindy list? Because that seems like it would be another title that would have really helped round out the hype.
Actually, you kind of just segued me into a point I wanted to make in the fact that there were two games that were shown in the regular Direct 2 weeks ago that should have been held over for this Nindies Direct. Obviously, the first one being Travis Strikes Again, No More Heroes.
Yes.
We got more info on that game, and we got to see gameplay in that last Direct. And I'm like, that's a Nindy title. Why isn't it part of the Nindies Direct? Like, and the other one was.
And it was in the last Nindies. Well, I guess the first Nindies.
It was, yeah. The first time we saw it was in the Nindies Direct.
Yeah.
And the other game that odd to me that was not held over was Little Nightmares. Had we seen those two games, like I would say the reception for this Nindies Direct yesterday was very lukewarm.
That's pretty nice. From what I've seen, it's been pretty brutal.
Had they just, if the No More Heroes and Little Nightmares had been held over for this Direct instead of being revealed again 2 weeks earlier, I think it would have made a significant difference on the perception of this Direct. It wouldn't have felt so light. Now, I get that maybe you want to amp up you want to ramp up the mature, or you just want that mature audience to gravitate to that main Direct. Because, okay, so the Direct in January was a lot of like ports.
Yeah.
And the same can be said about, the Direct from 2 weeks ago. There were a lot of ports. So I can see why you threw No More Heroes and Little Nightmares in there. But on the flip side, when you're doing a direct that's exclusively for Nindies, it seems like a missed opportunity to take away those games from that direct. But like I said, I wasn't that disappointed with the Nindies direct. Like I said, a lot of people not too happy with it, but I'm like, with the amount of independent games that come out on the Switch on a damn near weekly basis, this is like a drop in the bucket to what we'll actually see.
Yeah.
And with Nintendo's like Nintendo is actively wooing independent developers on a daily basis. Like, we're getting independent games. Like, the ones that they choose to show us, I think they do it because they fit into the Nintendo mold. Versus, with the exception of Pool Panic, that just looks like trash garbage.
Yeah, I was going to say, Pool Panic looked interesting. I don't necessarily think it's bad. I'm not a fan of it, but I can see it being fun. I don't know.
Yeah.
I hate Adult Swim games.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of
everything they make. I hate everything they make.
Okay, but other than that,
especially that stupid unicorn game.
Yeah, no, I
I
mean,
don't even remember what it's called.
I'll give props to the Adult Swim games. They're reasonably well made. I heard the Chef Brigade one was really good from what I've heard. Haven't touched it myself, so I can't speak on that. But I don't know. They've never been my cup of tea, but I know people who really enjoy them.
We gotta get to the meat of the episode now, right? It's Smash. This is pretty much the Smash speculation and looking around what we think, what's happening. Is it a new installment? Is it a port? What are we looking at here?
Yeah.
The trailer is sort of a mindfuck here. If I'm being honest, the trailer is a mindfuck because when we see Link in the trailer, he's clearly wearing the Breath of the Wild outfit. But when we see Mario, no Cappy.
I think it is a port. I want it to be a Smash 5. I think it's a port. I think it's deluxe 3DS Wii U. I don't think it's new.
All right, support your theory here.
So, a lot of people have been using like the logo as evidence. A lot of people have been using the copyright as evidence to say that's a new game. I don't think that's proper. I think it's an early game where they have to have the disclaimers like early game footage. No, there's no game footage, but like early game like stuff, things may change in the final game. Like for all we know, that might not be the final logo. I think it probably is like a prototyping logo for some reason. I think it is for all we know, the Breath of the Wild Link, it's not even actual gameplay footage, but it's still subject to change. The Breath of the Wild outfit might not even be in the final game. It'd be awesome if it was, but as of right now, it's a game still in development, it's subject to change, and there's no gameplay that we've seen. And so I think, the logo it's not enough evidence. I think that, Breath of the Wild Link is cool. I think it might be costume. I don't know. But the copyright, I think, is one of the big issues. I think, it is suspicious in some ways that, Namco Bandai isn't listed. I think, the year is kind of suspicious. But for a trailer that doesn't show any Namco properties, technologies used, or might not have been made by them, etc., I think what the copyright is intended to show here is that Smash is owned by Nintendo and HAL Laboratories. All of the IPs shown, which is Splatoon, Mario, Zelda, are owned by Nintendo. And I think it's just showing, like, this is our stuff. This is our trailer that we made. and they don't necessarily have to list Namco Bandai if Pac-Man wasn't shown, or they used their technology or their people to make the trailer. I think if Nintendo made it all in-house and did not include any like other parties, they don't have to include the copyrights. The gear, I think, is maybe a bit fishy, but I think if it's different enough as a deluxe, it might not be. I think it's just not enough to go on to support it being a new game.
I think that this is a new title. I'm going to use the logo as being part of the evidence as to why I think it's a newer title. The Smash logo is sacred to Sakurai. Whenever he debuts a new logo, it has been the indication of a new title within the franchise. Also, another reason why I think this is a new game is Sakurai hates the idea of a port. He hates the idea of a port. He does not like his... Sakurai is a man who does not like his work to be derivative. First off, Sakurai doesn't even like sequels. So the fact that they've been able to get him to make sequel after sequel after sequel for Smash in and of itself is quite the task. But he saw it as an offense when Iwata told him, either make Smash for us or we are going to port Melee to the GameCube. Like, that was an offense to him. So I don't see Sakurai spending any time working on a Smash port. And the fact that Sakurai himself confirmed that he is working on a Smash game makes me think that this is a new title. The longest wait we've had between Smash games is 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
We had Smash in 1999, 2001, 2008, and then 2014. He said Sakurai himself also confirmed that he's actively been working on this game for about 2 years. Pretty much when they finished the DLC for Smash for Wii U. I also think that that is evidence to this being a newer game. You're not going to start porting right when you finish the DLC for it. And if it was a port, we probably would have gotten it much sooner. The last bit of evidence is that Breath of the Wild costume. I think Link in that Breath of the Wild outfit not only means that this is a new title, but I think, and we'll talk about this a little bit later, it means that Link will be a character with an altered moveset. Jaden, where do you sit in this debate?
So, my thoughts are that it's a new game. I think I remember seeing a story about how Sakurai went to Twitter to imply that he was working on a new title. I couldn't find the story just now when I was trying to do a brief search for it, but whether or not that's true, I think that ultimately I think they'd be shooting themselves in the foot if they were to just simply go with a port. They basically have already done that with the 3DS version, even though it wasn't a port, it was still kind of semi-port because it was portable and people kind of treated it like a port. But to take that one and put it on the Switch, I think would be short-sighted.
In regards to you saying you can't find the tweet, I right after I saw that tweet, like in a picture, I tried looking for it. I could not find anything really about it. And I checked, the store at Twitter, which is run by Sakurai, which is his primary Twitter. I didn't see it on there either. So I wonder if that was maybe faked. I saw a picture of it. I can't confirm that exists, honestly. Can anyone else? Can you?
Could have been a poor translation. I'm not exactly sure.
But I do have troubles finding that tweet as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't count that as far as I'm concerned, he did not say that until someone can show me that his actual tweet, like, etc. But
that's fair.
Until then, I don't believe Sakurai said anything on it at this moment in time.
There was that strange recruitment page that Bandai Namco had put out.
Mm-hmm.
I think about in 2014, saying that they were actively looking for programmers for Smash 6, which chronologically Sakurai views Smash for 3DS as Smash 4,
and then Wii U was 5.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And there was that listing for programmers. and that was an official listing from Bandai Namco.
Mhm.
That being said, though, that page no longer exists, so it doesn't really help
Yes.
anywhere in this debate. Oh, but if it's a port, what?
So, I agree that, Sakurai does not like ports, and that's something that is the wrench in my argument, totally. But if it's more of a deluxe, that's more modified, than just simple deluxe would be, like in Mario Kart 8. Is it more of a port, or is it more of a 6? I don't know. Would that be okay in Sakurai standards? I don't know.
My thoughts are that if it's a port, they wouldn't really need Sakurai's involvement. Yeah. They wouldn't need Sakurai. So the fact that he's working on it, in my opinion, is reason enough to believe that this is new. And just because of who Sakurai is, like, again, the whole thing where he a port to him would be offensive, and all just the nature of Sakurai. I don't think this could be a port. Right. But you know what? I've been wrong before.
The hellish development cycle is something he doesn't want to go through again. That's why I think it's more of a port.
Sure. All right. So, based on our opinions, what changes do we want in this particular version of Smash? So, if this is a port, what changes do you want between Smash Wii U / 3DS to Smash 4 Switch?
So I'm gonna be that guy. I think they should add tripping. No, I'm kidding. I'm totally missing.
I hate you right now.
so no, I actually want to do this. I think I posted them somewhere, but it's like if they made it perfectly balanced. No, what was it? So they release Smash 6 as a horribly glitchy and horribly unbalanced game, but then they make up one patch, and they fix everything. But they add tripping. Do you play the broken, glitchy version, or do you play a perfectly balanced version of Smash, but there's tripping?
Tripping.
I'm not playing any version of Smash with tripping.
Are you sure? you take a horribly unbalanced and glitchy version?
I'll go back to Melee before I start playing trippy Smash again.
I mean, okay, fair enough. But then there's another one that was...
We were talking about balance. Let's talk about Melee.
Okay, yeah.
Melee is... 17 years old at this point, broken, and I'm fine with that. At least there's wave dashing in Melee.
I want to find the other tripping scenario that I had. It was interesting. You
guys remember? I'm not playing that. You know what though? If this is a port, I want there to be changes to the Smash Ball mechanic.
Yeah, I think that should be done as well.
I want the Smash Ball to work more like a special one where you don't actively have to pursue the Smash Ball. I want there to be like a super gauge, like in Street Fighter, Pokken, Tekken.
Okay, that's
every other. I would like it to work as a super mechanic where after you've accrued so much damage or you've dished out so much damage, that would charge your super, similar to how Little Mac's uppercut works.
Oh yeah,
where he builds where he builds the meter, then you get like a final smash time. I would love to see a more traditional super versus the Smash Ball. The Smash Ball, as much as I love the Smash Ball, that mechanic does not work in competitive play. It barely works in party play because then it's just. If you're smart, you don't try to go for the Smash Ball. You go after everybody who's trying to get the Smash Ball.
Yeah.
So if it worked more like a super meter, and then you got to do it, I would like that. And I would like that if this is a port, and I would like that if this is a new entry into the series. I would like the Smash mechanic, the final Smash mechanic, to be a buildable. Yeah. Just make it something that I can build upon.
I like that idea. However, I think it should be toggleable to have the super meters on or off. Since the Smash community has a thing about items on, items off, would they want a super meter or would they just want it none? I think that should be toggleable, if anything.
I think the Smash community would actually embrace it.
I think in some formats. I think there'd be a format where it's allowed and a format where it's not. I think it's going to come down to the tournament organizers and their rules, which could be interesting though.
I think they like it, especially if you're coming off of Smash for Wii U, where there are a lot of timeout matches. There are a lot of timeout matches in Smash for Wii U. So if the final Smash mechanic is if it's something that each character can build evenly, if it's balanced between every character, like, oh, this isn't gonna, like, there's no broken character. Let's say like Cloud, where Cloud does big damage, so his super meter fills faster than somebody who does chip damage like Pikachu. Pikachu is a heavy chip damage character, so when you're only doing chip damage, and to watch that super meter build up slowly, that would be a detriment to that character. So it would have to be perfectly balanced between every character.
Yeah.
If it's a perfectly balanced mechanic, I could totally see the Smash community just embracing it. And that being said, I mean, every other fighting game uses a super mechanic.
Yeah.
Pretty much since Street Fighter 2. We've always had a super mechanic. I don't think it would be a detriment to Smash to embrace. I mean, they've already, by adding the Smash Ball in Brawl, they already embraced the super mechanic. So just making it more accessible to every character without it being a free-for-all.
I could see that.
That's the one major change I would like to see in any Smash game, whether it be a port or a new game.
I'd like to see a story mode come back, to be honest. I liked that in the Wii version.
Subspace Emissary?
Yeah, I thought that was pretty fun, and I'd like to see that come back.
I would like to segue off of that, so at some point, you can finish what you're saying, but I want to segue off that in just a bit.
Yeah, and I think my only changes I'd like to see is addition of characters or returns of characters. Snake, young Link from Majora's Mask, Goku. I'll be that guy. No,
Wait, returning characters or
that'd be so funny if they actually added Goku. Things like that. I think. Wait, Wolf would be nice to see come back.
Okay.
New characters would be interesting too.
I think we should save new characters and characters for later.
Yeah.
But so going off of Subspace Emissary though, in Subspace Emissary there was a mechanic, and I believe it's also in Project M. I don't play Project M, and I can't really vouch for it. Where you select your characters in Subspace, and so I picked Kirby, and then after Kirby dies, I'm gonna switch to Link. After Link dies, I'm gonna switch to King Dedede, and then after his King Dedede dies, I go to Mario, and it's not a stock system, but it's a sort of lineup, and I think that would be a great thing to have just as a mode where I can select multiple characters. I think it's sort of cool if, like, I have my main, I have my pocket, I can pick both and I just switch them in between stocks. That's something I like to see as an actual mode for the actual game. But that was present in Subspace Emissary, and I really, really liked that idea. That would be the big thing. On top of just like Smash Tour, Smash Run, definitely I want best of both or none and just another other party mode. But those party modes like Smash Tour, Smash Run definitely should be present in some fashion.
Not Smash Tour. I don't want Smash Tour to come back. Smash
It's
Run.
good for a certain audience and a certain group of friends.
Smash Run is fantastic. Smash Tour takes way too long.
Agreed, but it's fun nonetheless.
They need to Mario Party Smash Tour where like everybody moves at the same time. Well, I think Jaden ran us into our next category, so let's just roll right into it. What returning characters do you want? Would you cut any returning characters? And which characters should have altered movesets? All right, I want to start with two characters that I want to have altered movesets, and then I'll move into the other categories. So for altered movesets, I want Mario and Link to have altered movesets. I'm tired of Flood. And yeah, I'm tired of Flood. And Mario has had an altered moveset before. The addition of Flood into Melee was altering his moveset between Melee and Super Smash Bros. for N64. So I think it's time to completely embrace the capping mechanic, because to give Mario that much more agility would make that character a lot more viable in competitive play. Plus, it would be really cool if Mario can capture enemies and throw them off the stage. Like similar to the Kirby mechanic where Kirby eats somebody and then jumps off the stage and spits him out and then floats his way back up. If Mario could do that with Cappy, that would be dope. As far as Link is concerned, I want him to have some Breath of the Wild moves, like Rivali's Gale. Rivali's Gale as his up B. That would be fantastic. Or Bowser's Revenge, where he just rains lightning from the sky. That would be, first off, poor Pikachu. But second off, you know how badass it would be to do like Rivali's Gale and to hit a large number of people. Let's say 8-player Smash comes back and you bust out a Rivali's Gale and you just lay waste to like half of the fighters on the field at once. That would be glorious. So I would love to see those two characters have alternate movesets. I think Mario needs it more than Link currently does. Just because Mario's been pretty stagnant as a character. Like, the character hasn't really grown since Melee. Once the FLUDD mechanic was entered into the game. And it's not that good. If I'm being honest, the FLUDD is not that good of a move. It's more of a keep away move versus than something that you can really use strategically to damage an opponent. Except for the hot water, when the hot water comes out.
I don't think FLUDD is a bad move. I think it's definitely a keep away, but I think keep away has its place. The only real reason I want FLUDD ever replaced is definitely just because it's from a dated game. We haven't seen Sunshine in a while, and so it's just old to see it in its new set. And I think it's cool to see like the new like companion of Mario in the new Smash Bros. Game, which was what happened in FLUDD. When Sunshine came out, we got FLUDD in Melee. But I don't necessarily think it should be Cappy unless Cappy sticks around for a lot of games. I think, we'll end up with the same issue where Cappy will, if we get more Smash installments, Cappy will become a dated move similar to FLUDD. And I don't think it should necessarily be Cappy. I think he'd be very cool. I'd love to see him. I don't think he should be it, though, just because he'll be dated eventually.
Eventually, but for right now, to see Mario with more agility, more recovery options, and depending on how to utilize Cappy, if Cappy is used to capture, opponents, that would be a significantly interesting way to play Smash.
Yeah.
Plus, it would make Mario just a more viable character, which
he doesn't need it.
Currently in the tier listing, he's mid-tier right now, right? He's not necessarily high tier right now.
He's high tier. I'm gonna say he's high tier. He's not highest tier, but he's definitely high tier. Yeah.
You know what? To go back to changes, I want Sheik. I just want her to be more balanced. Like, I want that character more killable. And I also want stages that don't necessarily play into that character's advantage. As far as there are a lot of stages that play to Sheik's advantages. And it led to that character being way overly used. I want the meta to build more naturally than having this one character that just seems to reign at the top of the tier. As far as returning characters to come back, man, it's weird because Smash games typically don't lose characters. I mean, so I don't really have any character I want to return other than maybe some of the third parties like Bayonetta and Cloud. I want those, and Mega Man and Sonic and Pac-Man. I want those characters to come back because they fill a niche. As far as characters I would cut, I'd probably cut half the Fire Emblem cast.
That's a tall order. That's half the game.
I would cut half of the Mario cast.
I think one of the problems with
the Mario cast, actually, that's a iffy subject. Who would you cut from Mario?
I cut Peach and I cut Luigi.
Interesting. I think I think in terms of changing, characters, maybe if they don't cut Fire Emblem, I think that a lot of them are way too similar and that they should differentiate. Like, for example, Lucina and Marth are practically the same,
Mhm.
which I'm sure there's people in the community who are going to roast me for that, but let's be real. They've got practically the same movesets.
Their moveset is
Moveset-wise,
identical.
they're the same.
They're,
It's
it's
the sword
different.
balancing.
Their tipper is
Yeah.
what's different.
Yeah,
Where Marth has
and
a tipper
Lucina
and-
doesn't even have a tipper.
Yeah, she's the
Yeah.
base of the blade, pretty much.
Mhm.
yeah, but I'd like to see more varieties in the movesets, and I think that would probably lend themselves to being viewed as solidify them as being different characters, and I think that would be a way of keeping them all in, yet being able to differentiate them. In terms of returning old characters, I said the ones that I want. Starwolf would be cool to have back. What was his name? Snake, Solid Snake, of course.
Mhm.
Be cool to see again. I'd like to see Pit return to.
His old form or his old
yeah.
moveset.
I don't like his new moveset, so I didn't use him at all because he just became unplayable to me. So returning to the way he used to be would be one of my things.
Rikaku is saying that we should give Ganondorf a new moveset, and that we should take Dr. Mario, Dark Pit, and Lucina and demote them to alternate skins.
That'd be interesting, yeah.
I don't want to see Lucina as an alternate skin. I think you lose a lot of identity with something like that. You could get away with it for certain characters, such as maybe Peach and Daisy, but I don't think Lucina and Marth, they're very, very different. Like, not moveset wise, but as characters in the game.
Yeah,
They're
I could
the
see
same
that.
lineage, but they deserve to not be, counted as their own. They deserve to be differentiated in some version.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I say giving them separate movesets
Mhm.
would help to solidify that differentiation.
Yeah, I think Ganondorf, people see him as the clone, but I almost want to ask if we could get a different F-Zero character and just have that be a heavy Captain Falcon and then give Ganon a different moveset for once.
Yeah, I could see a different Ganon moveset. That'd be kind of cool.
A different Ganon moveset would be kind of cool.
That's I like Corrin from Fire Emblem Fates. I thought out of all the Fire Emblem characters, his moveset was probably the most unique and made him feel different than the other Fire Emblem characters.
I mean, Robin, though. Robin was very, very different, I thought.
I never
couldn't
got the
use
hang of
Robin.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Each their own.
No, I agree with you. He had an interesting moveset. I couldn't get the hang of him, though. So, conceptually, it was cool.
I definitely want Ice Climbers back, and I think that also, in addition to them coming back, I think it should be also altered. Ice Climbers should be altered. I think a lot of the melee shenanigans, I like the idea of what you can do in melee with Ice Climbers, but I think it's not broken, but it wouldn't fly in the modern iterations. I thought the moveset would need to be altered thusly.
Get rid of wobbling.
Yeah, wobbling needs to be out. But I wouldn't be opposed to something that can also cause shenanigans. Like, shenanigans are okay with Ice Climbers. Wobbling isn't. You can give us some shenanigans but not wobbling. I don't know. So Ice Climbers definitely need to come back. I would like Starwolf to come back. Free Wolf has been a big movement in the community for a long time. I would like to see, not necessarily Pokemon Trainer, maybe a Pokemon Trainer. Could be cool if we got different Pokemon, but since Charizard is his own character currently, Ivysaur and Squirtle as their own characters would be ideal for me. But I wouldn't be opposed to Pokemon Trainer. I think maybe with the Kalos starters or the Gen 7 starters, maybe even Gen 8, where you could see some cool stuff with Pokemon Trainer. But I want Squirtle, Ivysaur, Charizard their own characters still.
That'd be pretty cool, honestly. I think that'd be pretty nifty.
All right, so
I always thought it'd be really cool to have young Link from Majora's Mask come back, but give him movesets of actually being able to put on masks. It could, he turned into the Goron, he turned into the Zora form, he'd have Deku Sprout form, and then he could have Fierce Deity as maybe his Smash Ball. I think that'd be wicked cool. But that's just me.
All right, so now that we've talked about characters who should be coming back, let's talk about some new characters. We obviously have our first probably 2 characters, or at least a palette swap character with the Inklings.
Mm-hmm.
First off, really happy to see Sakurai embracing Splatoon better. I honestly thought it was a missed opportunity that the Inklings weren't DLC characters in Smash 4. I mean, he was adding DLC characters to the game. It felt so weird that the Inklings didn't make their way into Smash, proper.
Well, wasn't it like every character was pretty much determined right at the beginning? So he didn't put, if they weren't on the list, they weren't getting in, other than the Smash ballot. The Smash ballot was the one exception, I believe.
That sounds about right.
I'm really happy to see the Inklings. I can't wait to see what their movesets are, and hoping for the Kraken as a final Smash.
Yeah,
because
cool.
That could just be so much fun to lay waste with the Kraken, since we can't do it in Splatoon.
I mean, what about like Tenta missiles or Splashdown maybe?
No, I want the Kraken. I want an invincible killing machine.
Okay.
As far as a completely new character I want in the game, I want Ninjara. Ninjara. I know that Arms should have representation in Smash, but I don't think it should be who everyone thinks it is. I don't want it to be Springman, because Springman is too balanced of a character in Arms. So we already have like a balanced character in Smash. That's Mario. You want to play completely balanced? I think Ribbon Girl would be the character that everybody would probably gravitate to, but I don't find that character appealing. But Ninjara, he's got a unique moveset within Arms. The only character that can teleport. Plus, I think it would be really badass to have a Ninjara versus Greninja trailer.
That'd be pretty cool, yeah.
Like, could you imagine the reveal trailer for Ninjara? You would have to have Greninja in that reveal trailer, and you have the 2 ninja-based Nintendo characters going at it, and they're both fucking teleporting left and right, and stretchy arms and tongues and all this amazing stuff that these 2 characters embody, and just putting that in a character reveal trailer. My mind's blown. If that doesn't happen, my heart's already broken. Also, Ninjara is my favorite character in Arms.
Well, I've always been a fan of the tanned waifu. I can't remember her name right now.
Twintelle.
Yeah, Twintelle. I'd like her to show up if we're talking about Arms. But
so you said not the traditional like Arms character. I'm gonna throw this out from left field. Biff. Biff is my pick for Arms representation in Smash. And I think you could do some cool things. So if he's not going to fight in Arms, he could fight in Smash for sure. He does have the gift of Arms as that's official, but also maybe if Arms was just the character itself, you got to sort of like swap in and out of like Springman, Ribbon Girl, almost like Pokemon Trainer, or maybe there was like Arms and it's like a palette swap so that you got like Springman, Ribbon Girl, like all the characters except for like maybe the heavies like Master Mummy. You got the good chunk of Arms representation as character swap palettes, palette swaps. Could be interesting as well. I think Arms representation is cool though. Yeah.
If they do Springman, which is probably the case, they'll probably pick Springman for Arms representation.
They might do Max Brass though.
The only way I want them to reveal Springman in a reveal trailer is against Little Mac, because I think that would be great to have them like in the boxing arena, like the boxing arena from Punch Out, and Little Mac starts rushing in, only to be surprised.
About to take out like Mike Tyson, and then
only to be surprised by like Springman's stretchy arm coming out and sending him flying into the air.
That too. Yeah,
that'd be pretty cool.
The Arms characters just feel like a natural fit for Smash. And could you imagine the recoveries? The up B just stretching the arms up, and just with Ninjara it's a little bit different because obviously
you can teleport. Yeah,
you would teleport. But with a character like, or with Ribbon Girl, she'd bounce, hop in the air.
Well, that wouldn't be a recovery. That'd be like Kirby's jumps. I think Ribbon Girl should have Kirby's jumps.
Oh, that's a good
point. I would love
that
to
could work.
See Arms representation in Smash. It just feels. If that's not the next character reveal we get is for an Arms character, I'm gonna be butthurt. I'm gonna be really butthurt, and we're like, "Why, Sakurai? Why?"
So, this is sort of making waves on the internet recently. Labo Man.
Oh man.
I think
Labo-Man.
it's one of those things where it's just crazy enough it would work and it would happen. It's a new thing that could deserve the attention as well as a sort of like fun nod. Like who expected Game and Watch? Who expected like half the
True.
characters?
Yeah.
But is he too similar to Game and Watch? That's my thing. Is
I don't think
Labo-Man
so.
too similar?
I think you can make a quirky, zany character that encapsulates like a lot of different things, like how Mr. Watch encapsulates all the Game & Watch games. Then there's like Pac-Man, who encapsulates a lot of just Bandai Namco games in general. Duck Hunt, case like all the Zapper games. Like you can do a lot of just quirky stuff with characters that all feel different. I think you can make Labo feel very different. There was a GIF going on where he even used the Joy-Cons. The Joy-Cons were part of his utility as well as his design.
That'd be kind of interesting, actually. I could see that.
I believe it was like the final smash would be like the giant robot made of cardboard.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool, actually.
Yeah. My new character would definitely, from like a Nintendo property, would probably be Labo-Man out of the oddballs. I kind of want more Kid Icarus representation. A lot of people have been saying Magnus. I'm a fan of Hades personally.
Yeah.
Hades could be a cool Kid Icarus rep. Ridley has been a fan favorite. King K. Rool has been a big favorite. I'm not a personal fan of either of those choices, but I don't know. There are things that people definitely want.
One of the things I'd like to see from Mario is a Boo.
Mhm.
I
can
mean,
see it.
I think
Or
that'd be kind of
Chainsaw.
cool.
Yeah, I can see it.
Or even, we could just have Cappy in his Boo form or Ghost form,
yeah.
which I think would be
Mhm.
kind of cool.
I want Cappy in Mario Kart, though. I want his Boo form in Mario Kart.
Oh, yeah, for sure. That'd be kind of cool.
Guys, we're forgetting about the most important character from Mario Odyssey, Pauline.
Yeah,
Oh,
people
yeah.
she's been a heavy request.
Get Pauline in Smash. Get Pauline in Smash. Oh man.
I would like to see some of the more side characters from Star Fox, like Cat. I think it'd be
Crystal's a big
super cool.
request, isn't she?
Or Crystal. Did I say, yeah. No,
You
they're the
said
same,
Cat.
right? Cat. But,
I don't
Cat.
know.
Who's Cat? Who's Cat?
I don't know, honestly. I
I'm
don't know
thinking
if it's
Crystal,
Cat.
aren't I?
I
Yeah, I'm
think
thinking
so.
Crystal.
Crystal.
My bad.
You know what? As far as third-party characters who deserve a slot in Smash, can we get Beautiful Joe in a Smash game finally?
That'd be pretty cool. Or what's from the I can't remember the Ami from Okami?
Okami?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Shibistru and Ramaratsu.
Amaterasu?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Amaterasu. I'd like to see Conquer from classic Conquer titles.
Bad Day, yeah.
Yeah.
I think
or-
Microsoft is gonna have a hard time letting that character go.
No, I totally agree. But
Yeah,
if
agreed.
sky's the limit, that'd be cool to see. Banjo and Kazooie,
Mhm.
another
So-
one.
There are a couple characters that I desperately want in this game that I never would have said before. Can we get the Rabbids from Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle in Smash? Can we get like a Rabbid Mario or a Rabbid Luigi? They already have unique weapons. Can we just throw the Rabbids in there with their Mario themed weapons and just watch them wreak havoc in a Smash game?
That's
I
actually
would
pretty
love
funny.
to see
I
that.
could see that.
I mean, it's sort of happened already. If you guys have played Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Smash Up, which was made by a bunch of former Smash developers, they had Rabbids in that game, and they worked pretty well. But I want the Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle Rabbids because I could only imagine. Like, could you imagine like Rabbid Peach's selfie attack? I would love to see those characters. Like, they're so quirky. And I literally fell in love with these versions of the Rabbids. I would love to see them in the new Smash.
I'm rooting for them for Mario Kart though. I want them to be Mario Kart. There's a lot of guys that want Mario Kart. Rabbids are one of them. I don't know how I feel about them in Smash personally.
Yeah, I do think they deserve a role in some way, shape, or form. If not,
And
maybe a
more
playable
into the games,
character,
yeah.
then a
Maybe
model.
assist trophy.
Yeah, assist trophy, something like that.
Mhm.
All right, so let's
I mean-
actually start.
I was going to say Rayman probably deserves the slot more than Rabbids though. If we're taking a Ubisoft rep, right?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Oh well.
I personally don't. I don't have a lot of good feelings about Rayman. And
Just Dance. What about Just Dance? from Ubisoft?
I could
Or
see Just Dance versus Wii Fit Trainer. Just have them go at it.
That'd be pretty
Desmond
funny.
from Assassin's Creed, the character that everyone loves. Tom Clancy's one of their characters. It's got to be Rayman or Rabbids, but it's Rayman deserves the spot more in my opinion. I don't know.
Then there's this nonsense with Goku being, and I know I'm probably upsetting Jaden here.
No. I'm just
Upsetting
messing.
Jaden.
It'd be
I
awful if
cannot-
I mean,
I could not stand a non-video game character in a Smash game. I could take a lot. You could throw in Bubsy in a Smash game, and I would be more receptive to Bubsy versus a Dragon Ball Z character.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, no, I don't think Dragon Ball has any room for Smash Brothers. If I'm being completely serious.
By the way, Dragon Ball is doing just fine on its own right now. Dragon Ball
Yeah.
FighterZ Z is doing fantastic right now.
But
yeah,
so with games like Xenoverse and Dragon Ball Fighter Z, is Dragon Ball a video game franchise or is it an anime franchise?
It's an anime franchise that gets video games.
I would agree. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Oh, speaking of Xeno, can we get Rex? And
I'd like to see Pyra.
Pyra. Oh, I would say those characters are so uniquely connected that I don't think you could do one without
One
the other.
without the other. I mean, it could be Pokemon Trainer, but Rex and Pyra.
That'd be kind of interesting. Yeah.
And it's almost see, I was against Rex up until just now. But you could do it like Rex is the main fighter, and then he switches off after he gets a certain amount of damage or builds a combo or something.
His final smash would be fantastic. Have Pyra turn into Mithra,
Yep.
and then call out Aeon, and then just blast everything to hell.
Oh yeah, that would be great.
I would like to
Final
see.
Smash.
I would like to see somehow them incorporate the giant robots from Chronicle X. Because that was
Skells.
sexy ass robot design, I gotta say.
Yeah.
But
X
I don't
is
know
just
how they do it.
phenomenal. I just want X. That's all I want. I just want X or X2. Those games were great.
All right.
One of the things I think would also be really cool for them to throw in would be something from characters from I'm blanking on the title. The Fire Emblem crossover with Shin Megami Tensei.
Tensei.
Yeah, I'm blanking on the title.
And Zephy.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool to see.
Mhm.
Or even some stuff from the new SMT that's supposed to be launching
yeah.
soon.
Mhm.
I think that'd be kind of cool.
All right. So now that we've discussed characters pretty
Oh,
thoroughly,
wait. Well, Simon Belmont. Everyone wants Snake, but I think Simon Belmont would deserve it more. But also Konami, so it's iffy. But I would want Simon Belmont.
we're also
Or
getting
Soma
calls
Cruz.
for Shantae and Shovel Knight.
Yes.
Oh, my
actually,
gosh,
yeah.
Shantae.
I want indie representation would be huge. My vote goes for Shantae over Shovel Knight, though.
Probably
Yeah.
a more unique moveset.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
All right.
Being the half genie that can transform and uses her hair. Of course, she has the better moveset.
Yeah,
All right.
agreed.
Plus, it's
Let's go
Shantae. She's great, and she has a rich history with Nintendo as well at this point.
Yeah,
All right.
agreed.
So let's slide into this next talking point. Is this the esports friendly version of Smash that the community needs? With the Switch being the system that it is this the version of Smash that the entire Smash community should gravitate to? Right now, the Melee community has setup issues. That being that they need CRT televisions and they need a crap ton of 17-year-old systems. That's a rough setup process. Like if you've ever been to a Melee tournament, it's a daunting task to set up. I mean, but they do well. With the Switch being as simple as bring your console, we have the docks. Just plugging in your system and just LAN connecting to everyone within pretty much everyone in the room. You'll be able to LAN with them. Is this the version that the Smash community needs to legitimize itself into a proper esport?
So there's I think there's two problems with that. Well, first of all, we don't have the game out yet. I think Nintendo will be developing it from an esports perspective, from an esports standpoint, because obviously that's one of the things that people still compete for, and I assume that they're trying to expand that market. I mean, it would make sense, especially with Splatoon. But my caveat, or my where I suspect they'll run into troubles is, yeah, I know I'm gonna get a lot of shit for this. I think that a lot of the community, the Smash community, just needs to, grow up and move on. Like, it's really hard, and the way what I mean by that is that I think it's hard to be taken seriously if you're still pining after something that's 17 years old. It's like, if you're trying to date someone, but you're still talking about your ex-girlfriend from 10 years ago, how the hell are you going to be taken seriously? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's just a little bit too old to keep going. But I do see sort of where they're coming from. There's not another game like, Melee that has come since in the Smash community. It's the only one like it since, and you're not going to get it soon, I don't think, either. And until there's a definable competitive Smash game, Smash 4 wasn't everyone's cup of tea. I think until you can get everyone on board with one game, as well as eventually, I think Melee is probably going to die soon. But I think Smash 4 needed a bit more work to be regarded the competitive mainstream.
I don't think they're ever going to be able to get everyone on board because what I see a lot in the Smash community is a lot of cocky elitism. Oh, it doesn't have wave dashing. I don't want this game. That kind of crap. And it's like, dude, how are you supposed to be taken seriously in the fighting game community if you're going to be talking about your lost love with Brawl? I mean, think of it this way: people move from Street Fighter 4 to Street Fighter 5, right?
Yeah.
Regardless of how crazy those changes are, they just kind of grew a pair and they dealt with it.
Yeah.
And for some reason, you don't see this with the Smash community.
Yeah, definitely. It's
and that division is what's hurting the community. That division is hurting the community, and not just hurting the community, but it also the way other communities perceive the Smash community is hindered by it.
And that's my thing.
One of the major complaints of people who attend EVO is that the people who attend for Smash, there's too many of them. First off, we're getting 2,000 participants between these two tournaments, and that they don't really mesh well with the rest of the community. A little bit is due to that elitism that Jaden was talking about earlier. And look, I love Smash, and as part of the Smash community, I'm fully well versed into how this community is, and sometimes it's honestly, I think it might, as much as I love Smash, I think it has one of the most toxic communities.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I'm not a hardcore player anymore. I'm casual. And I'm a filthy casual that plays with items on because I find it fun, and that's all I care about at this point in time. But I'm sure I'm gonna get shit for that.
I'm more or less a casual. I enjoy fighting games. Smash isn't one I want to take too seriously, though. A lot of my friends take it seriously. I follow the competitive scene. And I'm pretty good, but I'm not great by any means. And I love casual more than competitive. People get so competitive with me, and it's just by instinct, I start to sandbag, and then I just have fun with items on or play Smash Tour, and that's always good fun for me. I'll play occasionally, but I don't want to take it too seriously when it comes to Smash. I can follow it, I can kind of do it, but never hardcore. In terms of
I usually attend a couple of tournaments throughout the course of a new Smash game. I
attend a lot of tournaments, but I
need to participate. I'm very competitive, period. So I need an outlet, and sometimes Smash is good enough. So it's a weird place. I don't know what the community. First off, the divisiveness has to stop between the community. There needs to be one game to reign over them all. And wave dashing, as pivotal as it is to Melee, it's a game breaking concept. It fundamentally breaks that game.
Yeah,
wave dashing is not supposed to be in there.
Yeah,
it is a game breaking mechanic and I know we're gonna get heat for this. That's it. We're gonna get heat for it, but it is
Mhm.
a game breaking mechanic that people utilize to get better. I guess the same thing could be said about supers in Street Fighter or combos in Street Fighter. But the difference is that the developers actively use the combos after Street Fighter 2. They made versions of Street Fighter 2 that embraced the combos. They made it a mechanic in later Street Fighter games and in later fighting games. It became a proper mechanic.
I mean, I'm probably not helping the cause here, but isn't it like in 64 wave dashing was in the manual or something? But it wasn't in Melee or something. I don't know. I might be crazy.
I haven't seen that manual in years, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I'm not certain
I'm just
either.
crazy.
I mean,
crazy, yeah.
My impression of the community is that they could release another game. It could be perfect. It could have all the characters, all the wave dashing. It could even have Goku, and they'd still find problems with it, and they'd go back to Brawl. Or wait, Melee. Excuse me. They go back to Melee. That's my impression of the community, and I just don't think they know what they want until it's 2020 hindsight.
The other aspect of an esport is support, like legitimized tournaments. Overwatch has a league. Call of Duty has a league. League of Legends has a league. Nintendo needs to legitimize Smash as a proper fighting game by either sponsoring their own like tournaments, using the overall community to come up with a rule set, and they need to have like a season. Like, this is the season. This is our Smash season. 6 tournaments. These are all national tournaments, and then we have one world tournament at the end of the season. They need to legitimize Smash in that sense, and then I think that will help this grow as an esport tremendously. And not only that, just it'll popularize the Switch in a way that they haven't quite capitalized on. We said it earlier in this episode. The Switch is becoming like the unofficial fighting game console. By coming up with their own tournaments, with their own rules and regulations, Nintendo can completely just dominate the FGC.
Yeah, no, I completely agree that they need to get more legitimacy. And I'm not sure how exactly to do that. I think maybe Nintendo sponsoring might be one of it. But I'm thinking from a logistical standpoint, one of the things that you touched upon earlier speaks to me, and that's setup. Like, how are you going to be taken seriously as an esport if your competition requires 17-year-old systems and CRT televisions? You know what I'm saying? Like, that, to me, that's... If I was an outsider who knew nothing and I saw people trying to push this thing, I'd be like, why? What are you doing? Why would I do that when I can play Overwatch? New system, new, and, and I think there needs to be some perception changes on the community as well. That I think that will also help push it as an esport.
All right. So, we've talked esports. Let's move into the next. Does the September launch of Nintendo Switch Online give us a release window for this game, or will they wait for the coveted holiday season to launch Smash for Switch?
So I might have already touched on it ages ago, but I think we're not getting Smash before the online releases. I think Nintendo wants us to pay to play for glory, which is saying something, because they know everyone will pay to play for glory. They're like, if you're not paying for the online system for either Splatoon or for glory, what are you doing? And it's very weird to think about and paying to play for glory, but I don't know. I think that's what they're gonna do. Everyone will want to play online in Smash, so you're gonna schedule it correspondingly, where you need to pay at the given time. When there's the game that needs it, we're gonna charge you for it.
See, I think this game is gonna fall right at the time that this paid-for service launches. I think we're gonna get a day and date. It's just gonna happen. We're gonna get that really, they've been working on the game long enough. We're getting character reveals already. You do not want to launch this paid-for service without a game that completely utilizes it, and not one that's in your back library. If they, the worst thing Nintendo could do right now would be to launch without this game, that online paid service. If they do, they're shooting themselves right in the foot, and they're going to open themselves up to new waves of criticism that they've never exposed themselves to. Nintendo's already been real slow to embrace online and games that utilize online properly. Not having this game right there at launch would completely destroy them as far as being taken as a credible online, game developer. They need this game in September when this service launches.
I would also have to say that you need to get it right. We're using the phone app right now, which got a lot of backlash when it first hit the scene for Splatoon. As well as, it's kind of weird how they're setting it up. A lot of how they have it for the phone as well is kind of clunky and awkward as well. Whereas certain systems such as Discord seem to do it better. And so I think, that needs to be fixed or changed drastically by the time this launches. I think, if you're going to pay for online, I need dedicated servers and, something to actually pay for the maintenance of to improve the online of in some fashion would be what I'm looking for as well. Definitely needs to be overhauled from their previous or even current at this point systems for online.
Hopefully that's the reason why it's taken this long to launch this online service, because we're supposed to launch last winter or last fall, and it's launching a year later from what they said. So hopefully they've listened to the community, listened to other developers, and just figured out what they need to do in order to make sure that this is a sustainable, well-maintained, and well-utilized online server space.
So have they given a date in September when the online's supposed to launch, or is that just kind of sometime?
It's tentative September.
So if it were me, I would probably launch online late September and then release Smash probably mid-October so that you can kind of capitalize on the oncoming holiday season, but not be like right in the middle of holiday, you know what I mean? And what I hope they'll also do with the online to buffer that time period is launch some sort of like, I don't know, a PS Plus kind of thing where you get free games that you can play with it. Something like that, very virtualware or whatever. I think that would be a way to buffer that time period between the two.
That would make a little bit of sense. All right, so last talking point. This one is one that I just think is a lot of fun. Does this new version of Smash launch with a new line of amiibo? And if so, are you ready to struggle looking for amiibo again, all over again, like it's 2014?
I think the fact that Inklings are a character presents an extreme question, just because we would assume the current Inkling amiibos would be compatible as Inkling amiibos for the game. But there's also always a Smash version of each Smash character. So we'd assume you get an Inkling on a trophy for it, on the Smash symbol trophy for an amiibo as well. So we could get more Inkling amiibos as well as I'd assume the current ones would be compatible. Because I think it'd be dumb if they didn't. It took us this long to get Cloud, Bayonetta, and Corrin. I think at this point we're probably getting more Inkling amiibos, but for Smash line this time. At the very least, if more characters are revealed, I think they would also get amiibo.
That's the thing, though. From what we saw in that trailer, the Inklings didn't look decidedly different than how they currently look in their own game. The real thing is, like I said, I want ARMS representation in this game, and since ARMS didn't have amiibo support, would love to get my hands on any character from the ARMS franchise in amiibo form. That being said, though, I do not want to go through the same struggles I went through trying to get the entirety of the Smash line. I actually gave up. At around wave 6, I said I'll just get the ones that I can because I am tired of trying to find these.
Yeah.
Nintendo's gotten better with Amiibo. They've gotten a lot better with, stocking Amiibo, but they also haven't had a line of Amiibo that is as hotly demanded as their Smash waves. None of the other Amiibos were as important to Amiibo collectors as the Smash line. Everything else was relatively easy to find by comparison, except for Shovel Knight. That was actually kind of hard.
Yeah. I think we might see Smash variants. For example, if the new Link is Breath of the Wild Link, we might see a new Breath of the Wild Smash variant. But in terms of completely re-releasing Amiibos that already have the current Smash form, I don't know. I think we'd probably see a re-release of existing ones before we do that.
I agree there will be re-releases, yeah. I think some of the rare ones as well, and maybe some exclusives such as Palutena. If Palutena's are a returning character, I think she'll definitely get reruns. Characters such as Mario, everyone should have the Mario Amiibo at this point.
The thing is, they could, theoretically speaking, they could release completely reworks of all the Smash Brothers line, and they might make some money, but is it worth the gamble, the risk of the perception backlash? Because you could very easily be perceived as milking it, or beating a dead horse. And Nintendo's been doing well with the Switch, but I don't know if they'd want to risk that,
Yeah, they don't want it to look like a cash grab.
Yeah.
Especially after, a lot of people have spent a lot of money on the Smash line, and so having to re-buy the entire Smash line for the new game is kind of a slap in the face to a lot of those consumers who collected all these Smash line. And even more, it's a slap in the face, blatantly.
Unless they're completely redesigned to fit the new art style of this Smash game, which is kind of hard to tell if it's like a 100% completely new Smash game. If this is a port, I hope to not see new Amiibo. If this is a new game, new character poses, stylistic changes, a Cappy, Mario, Mario, or a Breath of the Wild, Link, or just new characters like any character from ARMS. I mean, it would have to be a completely new game for them to really get any kind of money off of a new set of Amiibo for Smash.
Okay, if Labo Man is a character, though, could he have a build-your-own cardboard Amiibo?
That'd be pretty funny, honestly.
Oh, Lord. I don't even want to know. No, I don't want to even
I don't
know
know how that
works.
would work, but it'd be funny.
I mean, so you make your own Labo character, a figure of Labo Man, and you put him on a base similar to Game & Watch, right? Just a mini Labo project that you put onto the Amiibo base.
That'd be kind of cool, actually. I could see that happening.
Oh, I would not want that. It would break, and then I'd be pissed, and then I would they'd have to make it plastic.
I could see that. Yeah, it would be too fragile.
Definitely.
What about Cereal Box for Smash, though? Come to think of it, Super Mario Cereal. It's an Amiibo. It is an Amiibo.
Yeah.
Will it be in Smash?
As a trophy, I could see that happening. I'd love to see that as a Smash trophy.
That's literally advertising in Smash. I love it. They should put ads for their stuff in Smash, though, more or less. That'd be kind of interesting. I don't know. You see it in Wii Sports. They have just Nintendo, but it's you could actually advertise games in Wii Sports on those little sideline banners.
I gotta admit, that's one of my favorite things about Japanese games that are set in Akihabara, is they use it to push other games by the same company. And it totally works because you're actually, that's the way Akihabara is. They have those giant monitors where they do that. So that's plugs like that. They have to be done tastefully for it to be well received, which is always a bit of a crapshoot. But back onto Amiibos, one of the things I was thinking earlier today, which I hope they kind of do, is I hope they allow you to take the old Smash data that's on your old amiibos and do something with it in the new Smash. I don't know what they would do, but I think it'd be cool.
I mean, I would assume that they would just work the same. So if your Mario amiibo from Smash 4/5, so if you count them separately, would work the same as it would in Smash 6. I think relearning movesets. So if your Mario amiibo had Flood and Cappy, I think we just naturally try and relearn that as amiibos should. But I think it's going to be pretty much the same. I think, we see like the data carries over, data stored in the amiibo. And so I think it shouldn't be like a transference system. I think it should just already be set, my amiibo should just work. And I think that's probably how it's going to be.
But I think it'd be cool to have an extra unlock in there somewhere,
Oh, yeah, I think they'll do something like that. Similar to like how in Splatoon, the Splatoon 1 amiibos worked, but they have different functionalities, as well as they changed some of their additional functionalities as well. You don't unlock the gear and the additional story modes, but some of the cool things were changed and kept.
All right, so guys, that's pretty much it. We ran through the gamut. We got through it. Very interesting conversation I thought we had today. Smash is one of these games where like everybody has their own like unique opinion about it. They love it for different reasons, and I think we've honestly covered a lot of cool and interesting topics. I'm actually interested to see what comes next for this game. Well, hopefully we find out by E3 whether or not this is a new game. I feel like if Smash isn't the game they spend a good number of time at, a good amount of time at during the E3 presser, I feel like they're missing an opportunity. Up until this point, I would have said that Metroid would have been the game that they focused on, but then they revealed this game, and I think that this should definitely take precedence over anything else right now. Smash is one of the biggest franchises Nintendo has, and I think they need to just really strike while the iron's hot, because right now we're all salivating. We want to know more about this game. Anyway, as far as me, you guys know that you can hit me up on Twitter at Nice193. You can email me at nice193@gmail.com, and you can hit me up on Facebook, facebook.com/Nintendo Power Zone. Guys, hit them up with the social media links.
So you can find me on Twitter at VKingBlues. Blues, once again, spelled BLOOZ, as well as that's on YouTube as well. Same thing, all one word for you guys.
You can hit me up at Jaden Winsong on Twitter. Same thing for Twitch. I've been streaming retro games lately, so if that's something you're interested in, or Waifu Wednesdays, that's another thing.
All right, guys, as always, we are the Nintendo Power Zone. We are now a bi-weekly podcast. You can catch us right here on YouTube. You can download new episodes on iTunes or Google Play Music, and you can stream new episodes on Stitcher Radio. And guys, just a little bit of housekeeping. We are now running an 8-bit news section on the YouTube channel. All the top headlines in 8 minutes or less. And if you haven't seen the fantastic interview that Blues did at the National Video Game Museum in Texas, definitely need to go watch that video. Great content for the channel. And as always, guys, until next time, stay fresh.